Pete went into the doctor's office for his annual checkup, and the doc asked if there was anything unusual he should know about. So Pete told the doc that his suit must have shrunk over the last year because it didn't fit when he went to get ready for a wedding recently. The doc said, "Suits don't shrink just sitting in a closet. You probably put on a few pounds." "That's just it, doc. I know I haven't gained a single pound since the last time I wore it." "Well then," said Doc, "you must have a case of furniture disease." "What in the world is furniture disease?" asked Pete. "That's when your chest starts sliding down into your drawers." Kenny, a city boy, decided to embrace country life and bought a donkey from an old farmer for $100. The farmer promised to deliver the donkey the next day. The following morning, the farmer arrived with bad news. "Sorry, son, but the donkey died." Kenny frowned. "Well, just give me my money back." "Can't do that," the farmer said. "I already spent it." Kenny thought for a moment. "All right then, just unload the donkey." Puzzled, the farmer asked, "What are you going to do with a dead donkey?" "I'm going to raffle him off," Kenny replied confidently. "You can't raffle off a dead donkey," the farmer exclaimed. "Sure I can," Kenny said. "I just won't tell anyone he's dead." A few weeks later, the farmer ran into Kenny and curiously asked, "So, what happened with that dead donkey?" Kenny grinned. "I raffled him off, sold 500 tickets for $2 each and made a profit of 8. The farmer was shocked. "Didn't anyone complain?" "Just the guy who won," Kenny said. "So I gave him his $2 back." One day, a teacher was trying to teach her students good manners and asked a fun question during class. "Michael, if you were on a date, having dinner with a nice young lady, how would you tell her that you need to go to the bathroom?" Michael, not thinking much, quickly said, "Just a minute, I have to go pee." The teacher frowned and responded, "That would be rude and impolite, Michael. What about you, Sherman? How would you say it?" Sherman, more polite, said, "I'm sorry, but I really need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back." The teacher nodded. "That's better, Sherman, but it's still not very nice to say the word bathroom at the dinner table. Johnny, can you use your brain for once and show us your good manners?" Johnny grinned, leaned forward and said, "Darling, may I please be excused for a moment? I have to shake hands with a very dear friend of mine whom I hope to introduce you to after dinner." Ever since I was a child, I've always had a fear of someone under my bed at night. So I went to a psychiatrist and told him I've got problems. Every time I go to bed, I think there's somebody under it. I'm scared. I think I'm going crazy. "Just put yourself in my hands for 1 year," said the psychiatrist. "Come talk to me 3 times a week, and we should be able to get rid of those fears." "How much do you charge?" $80 per visit," replied the doctor. "I'll sleep on it, and if needed, I will come back to you," I said. 6 months later, the psychiatrist met me on the street. "Why didn't you come to see me about those fears you were having?" he asked. "Well, $80 a visit 3 times a week for a year is an awful lot of money. A bartender cured me for $10. I was so happy to have saved all that money that I went and bought me a new SUV. Is that so?" With a bit of an attitude, he said, "And how, may I ask, did a bartender cure you?" "He told me to cut the legs off the bed. Ain't nobody under there now." One day, a little boy named Sam was playing in the backyard when, during an intense pretend battle, he accidentally knocked over the outhouse. Panicked, he ran into the woods, hiding until after dark. When he finally came home, his pappy was waiting for him with a suspicious look. "Son, did you knock over the outhouse this afternoon?" Sam gulped. "No, pappy," he lied. His father sighed and said, "Let me tell you a story, son. A long time ago, young George Washington got a brand new axe. Excited, he tested it out and accidentally chopped down his mother's favorite cherry tree. Realizing what he had done, he ran off, just like you. When he came back, his father asked, 'George, did you cut down the cherry tree?' And do you know what he said? 'Father, I cannot tell a lie. I did indeed chop down the tree. And because he was honest, his father forgave him and let him go without punishment. Pappy leaned in and asked again, Now, son, did you knock down the outhouse? Sam took a deep breath and said, Pappy, I cannot tell a lie. I did indeed knock down the outhouse. Then Pappy tanned his hide red, white, and blue. Through teary eyes, Sam cried, But Pappy, George Washington's father forgave him. Why did you spank me? Pappy shook his head and said, Because, son, George Washington's father wasn't sitting in that cherry tree when he chopped it down. A man asks a farmer if he can work for a night's lodging and a meal. Farmer gets a knock on his door. It's a man in his mid-30s who looks like he's been traveling a while. The man asks if he could earn a meal and a place to stay for the night. Do you have any skills? The farmer asks. Well, I do have a rare gift. I can communicate with animals. Sure you can, the farmer says, but I like your style. I'll put you to work. So the man does a few chores around the farm and earns his meal. At dinner, he says to the farmer, I know you don't believe me, but I actually do communicate with animals. I can prove it. I spoke to the hens, and they said you were there every morning before dawn to collect their eggs, and you've been doing so every day for years since your wife passed. The farmer says, Wow, that's exactly right. The man continues, I spoke to your cow, and she said you faithfully milked her every day before dawn, and you've been doing so every day for years since your wife passed. The farmer says, I'm amazed, that's true. The man says, And I spoke to your sheep. That sheep's a liar. A wealthy lawyer is cruising in his limo when he spots two men by the roadside, bending down and munching on grass. Curious, he pulls over and rolls down his window. Hey, why are you guys eating grass? He asks. One of the men looks up and replies, We're too poor, sir. We don't have anything else to eat. The lawyer pauses for a moment, then says, Hop in. You and your buddy can come home with me and I'll feed you. The man hesitates. But sir, I have a wife and kids, and so does my friend. Bring them too, the lawyer insists. Soon the limo is packed with the two men, their wives, and their children. One of the women turns to the lawyer with teary eyes. Sir, you have no idea how much this means to us. Thank you. The lawyer smiles warmly and says, No worries. The grass is almost a foot tall. You'll love it.